Hey everyone, and welcome. It's Mike Curtis along with Preston the Pirate James, founder of Traders Edge Network. We're coming at you for another FogCutter live. We're excited to kick off the trading week. And Preston, say hello. Like always, there's a lot to chat about.
Yeah, a lot to chat about. Yeah, the clouds are kind of formed over. All of my football teams, college and pro, lost over the weekend. I came back on an early flight this morning, so I haven't had the normal, routine. I still am just I didn't watch a lot of the games because I was out of town doing some other things this weekend. So I don't know. I come at you a little shell shocked here today, Mike, but it
Yeah,
happened.
we start the week post football weekend, and we saw everything. The futures were a little weak, as they open up Sunday night. It looked like the futures were maybe going to just a little softer open, but then here we are, everything just kind of surging, new highs. And Preston, I know we've talked a lot on these fog cutters as well, just how it's kind of been go time for stocks, right? We went through the correction, all the tariff shock and awe in April, and ever since then, the market has just had a tailwind. And of course, now last week we get the Fed coming in, cutting rates, projecting future rate cuts. And there's that old saying, don't fight the Fed. So P, maybe color that up just a little bit. The Fed component, along with just this bullish trend and tailwind that we're in, and kind of where that has your head for right now in the markets.
Yeah, one thing I learned from a mentor early on, and you don't, it's that these things don't really cement in you until you have experience and you can see it and own it yourself. But it was this short but powerful phrase for stocks. You never know how high they can go, and you never know how low they can go.
Right.
And when some stocks maybe it's impossible for them to craft everything coming together. But I mean, there's some companies out there that are run right. They pay down their debt. They have the right leadership. They make the right product at the right time. It all comes together. And who are you and I to decide how high is high? And I'm thinking like a company that announces earnings this week in Micron, where it has just been blistering the last 3 weeks leading into earnings. Now, you and I know that, unless you're an insider, and then if you even acted on it, then you'd be in trouble. But, no one knows, A, what will be announced for the past earnings, B, what will be announced forward for guidance from the company, and then C, how the crowd's going to react to all that. But I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't continue on higher.
Right.
You never know how high they can go. You never know how low they can go. And I just want to contrast this, Mike. I just noticed before we started that the Trump administration's ready to make some announcements on autism, and RFK, they are linking Tylenol during pregnancy as one of the things. Well, there's a company called KVue, KVUE, that was a recent spinoff of Johnson and Johnson, and just check out the action in that stock. This is opposite, low, low, low. Well, how high do they go? You never know how high they can go or how low they can go, and this could go lower. While the ones that have everything going for them can go higher. So two juxtapositions there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and it's been, especially these last about 2.5 weeks, right? We've just seen the market climb higher. And so really we've just stayed pretty fully invested. I've tried to get a little more defensive maybe this last week, just anticipating maybe some profit taking. But that defensive mindset doesn't mean I'm going bearish. It doesn't mean I'm closing things down. It doesn't mean I'm scaling back positions. It just means trying to tighten up put protection where it makes sense, sell calls against calls that I own or sell calls against stock that I own, but I'm still doing that out of the money, selling those calls out of the money, which gives it some upside, all because that tailwind is there, that strength is there, the bullish sentiment is there. And so you just don't want to fight that momentum, right? And that's something you've really helped me with over the years, Preston, that you never know how high it can go, you never know how low it can go.
Yeah.
So
It is kinda crazy. And we should mention too that I was out of town, I came back, left town
right.
for a conference, and so you're coming in from, what, the San
Yeah,
Diego
coming in
area?
from San Diego, I got the bay behind me. It's beautiful weather like usual. So Kyle and I wish we were out on the golf course right now, but we're in a fun conference learning some fun things. And lots of AI conversation, of course. And like you've talked about, it's the idea whose time has come, right? It's just
Yes.
a lot of AI discussion, how we can utilize that. Just a fun, mind opening discussion so far this morning. But Preston, as you're looking out at this week, we have a few earnings coming up.
Mhm.
Economic calendar, as we were peeking at it this morning, it was a lot of these regional Fed chairs speaking. Jerome Powell has, I believe he was having a speech as well. Let me see if I can remember that. That's tomorrow during market hours. Retail numbers coming out this week. That's on Thursday. And then Friday, oh, and some existing home sales. And then Friday is kind of the biggie, I guess you would say, the PCE, which is really the Fed's kind of preferred inflation gauge. So anything on that front that you're keeping an eye on this week?
Yeah, no, just knowing when those different ones come up. I mean, there's a kind of a fun side strategy, and we kinda got done with a series on it called the Sleepover Bandit, SOB, and I just note that if there's big news on Friday that, that particular strategy takes a back seat. It's just fun to know, like, on a Monday, it's really fun to map out what's coming this week, and, they can surprise us with the report and the number, but it's rare that the government just, "Oh, we forgot to announce this last week. Oh, here it is, by the way." These are all measured out and known in advance. Same with earnings announcements. I mean, Costco and AutoZone are this week. Accenture is one that I watch that it's kind of, in a way, kind of an economic indicator just because they consult with all the top companies, and that's where they derive their revenue. And then Micron also.
Yeah, that's so always keep an eye on those calendars. And Preston, maybe we just talk because we were chatting about it before we went live here about gold, silver, just jumping up. I know you've had a money press on SLV, right? The silver ETF. So maybe you could just speak to that, how that's been doing, how you've been managing it to take advantage of these precious metals, just seeing some inflows lately.
Yeah, basically just the thinking, well, the I'm not sure what, conventional wisdom or whatever, but I bought into it. The fact that silver has historically gone with gold, but not as much in recent years, and it kinda has some catch up to do. So, I like that. Even more so, Mike, and you know this, but in addition to having very actively traded weekly options, there's so much interest in an SLV that they have 3 expirations a week. So they actually have Monday, Wednesday, and Friday options, and this is a concept that you could have never explained to me 15 years ago when all options had monthly options. If you were gonna say that every other day there was gonna be an expiration, and that if you looked at that premium for every 2 days and then multiplied that by 15 for a month, the level of premiums that you can collect, if doing it every other day versus 1 time a month, it's like 4 times greater on the income side, and that's what we do a money press for, is the income. So this is even hard to explain to a finance professor, let alone your neighbor, but it's just had some really, yeah, it's been really fun the last few months here.
Yeah, and it's just to me, it's a reminder because Preston, when I first started trading options, right, there weren't these weekly expiring options. It was the third Friday of every month. That was options expiration day.
Yeah,
Now it's just come out where there's over 500 stocks that have these NDTFs that have these weekly expiring options. And now some of these indices have, like SPX has options that are expiring every single day. And some of these
daily.
ETFs like SLV that have that 3 times a week expiration periods. And as a put seller, which is the component of the money press that's kind of our cash cow, we want to sell it in the in the example of SLV, maybe for 30 cents, and then we want to buy it back for 2 cents, and that's our profit, right? We're
Right.
bringing in a chunk when we sell, and then we close it out for a few pennies, and that's how we turn a profit. And with these weekly options, the most rapid time decay that helps that premium go to almost zero is in that last week of the
Yeah.
option's lifespan. Well, enter these daily or 3 times a week expiration periods, and we're catching even a more rapid period of time decay. So to your point, Preston, it's such a powerful tool to use, whether you're selling calls, selling puts. It's a great way to generate income. And I know there's been quite a few of our WoW insiders that have just really loved trading this SLV. So if you do want to follow along and see exactly how Preston is trading SLV, you can check out, if you're not already, you can check out our WoW Insider service where Preston's sharing all of his trades, and you can try it for free. We let you take a little test drive of that. It's freeinsidertrial.com, and you can see exactly how Preston is trading this money press on SLV and how it's just been a nice little money maker for us so far. So anything else on that, P?
I'll add to it, Mike. It's kind of fun. I mean, that's been lost, I think, in a lot of maybe trading. I mean, it's kind of fun doing that. It's kind of fun selling something for 30 cents. It's like doing it in reverse. What if you bought something for a penny and sold it for 30 cents?
Right.
That's what we're doing in reverse. Anyway, I'm just saying and that's not the only thing we're doing. And it's fun too, Mike, because it's a little slice of the silver market over here. And then we're in cybersecurity names over here and in manufacturing stock over here. So we tried to divide up the pie and touch different parts of the world that's just happening all the time. We don't want to look down and find out there were 9 money presses and they're all in biotech,
Right.
right? So that makes it fun too,
Yep.
just to split it up a little
Absolutely.
bit.
Still applying that principle, diversification, different sectors, et cetera, et cetera. Well, Preston, and we'll keep our finger on the pulse this week. Really, it's just kind of all systems go. We're trading. We've got the account pretty fully invested. Again, we've covered a lot of ground these last 2.5 weeks. So, it's go time for stocks. The market's been strong, but at some point, you're going to see probably a little bit of profit taking, whether it's a day or two or a week or two. So we're always trying to be ready and prepared for that. But speaking of that WoW Insider membership, you do a webinar every Friday where you talk your money press trades, you talk about what the markets are doing. In this last Friday, you did something pretty fun following up on our small account mastery series that we hold usually May, June of every year. And you announced our small account mastery contest winner, which is based on just account performance, percent gain. And this one was pretty fun. It wasn't our best. We've had, I think, 1 or 2 years that maybe topped it, but
Mhm.
man, do we just love seeing these results pour in. So maybe you could shout out
Yeah, and
some of
well, these
these.
are the runners up, Mike, as you know, and the Sam's is 10 weeks long. 10 freaking weeks. So 2.5 months. So these aren't adjusted. Hey, this we did X amount, but over a year it'd be 100.
Yes.
Eli was a runner up at 235% return. Now, these people, we had a really kick ass contest if you were the winner. So these people were in it to win it, but why we're even flashing us on the screen is they had to send us in their account statements. We had to go magnifying glass and go green eye shade and burn some midnight hours so we could determine the winner. But these are the runners up 10 in 10 weeks. Eli hit 235%. I mean, shout out to Eli and everyone on here, to Mark, Robert, Donald, to Linda with our 126. And Nick,
So,
David, and Jared and Robert, all 100% gains or higher in 10 weeks. and then honorable mentions of Richard and Charlie, Kirk, David, and Garrick. We wanted to shout all you guys out. Super proud of you for not only your accomplishment, but for taking action, for being plugged in, part of judging this, Mike. And we had a forum that was just active like crazy, and they had to bring it and to bring value. And there's really a power of a group too when we do these. And I do miss it. We're together. I open an account with $10,000. This is Sam's Small Account Mastery Series. We just open it up and we trade it together once a week on Thursdays for 10 weeks. And we teach and we pop strategies in there. We do live trades in there. Some things don't work out, and we'll go in and say, hey, this didn't work out. Here's what we do. And there's no bad or, haunting music or whatever. We just like, no, this is part of it.
Yep.
Not everything is rosy, but when they are, we like to hang on to it. And we did have a really good market backdrop, but this was just more than fun right here.
Yeah, it
And you
was. And so
contribute
many
on it every
more.
week as well, Mike.
Yeah, definitely. Tons of fun. And so many more that didn't even send in once they started seeing some of these big numbers on the forum. They're like, oh, I'm not quite there. So many more that didn't even send in their results. If they did, we probably would have had 3 pages of 100% plus type
Yeah.
performance. So really fun to see that. Really excited for all those that participated. So that will be, if you're interested, 2026 SAMs will kick off in May. Keep an eye out for that. And then our winner, I think we've got the slide for that.
Yeah,
Our
let's
winner, Ron S., Winchester, Virginia, barely beat out Eli there. It was close. We had to double check, triple check.
sorry,
And
Eli.
big shout out to Ron. He's going to have an all expense paid day to come out to the land office, sit with you and trade for an entire day. Bunch of other freebies and goodies. So we're really excited for Ron. Can't wait to have you into the office, Ron, and
Yeah.
meet you in person.
Congratulations, Ron.
Yes,
Kick
and there's the
butt.
URL. If you want to join the wait list for next year, SAMS 2026, you can go to smallaccountmastery.com. That'll make sure you don't miss that when we kick things off in May of 2026. It's just a fun, I think we've done it 13 years now, Preston.
Yeah, next year is going to be 14.
Yeah.
And Mike, I'll add too that, it's a small account focus, but the people that do it, well, just from the feedback that we've heard over the years, I mean, they have a lot more capital than that. But I mean, if something's got to, and you might speak to this a little bit better just because you're closer to the ground, you have your ear to, on the forums and stuff. But I maybe for some reasons they haven't started, and they starting small just appeals to them, or they want to start small, do it with real money so they can prove themselves to themselves for their
Absolutely.
larger money. Do you just want to speak to that for?
Yeah, it's a really common way people love to get started trading options, especially if they're newer or maybe they've had some options experience, but they're just like, hey, I'm going to try this money press. And they might throw 5 or 10,000, 20,000 into an account, and they just start getting a feel for the money press, for the system, for the Trader's Edge Network strategies, Preston, that people just, love and adore, that you've been teaching people for over 22 years now. And so, yeah, it's just a great place to get going. And that's the whole idea. We want to give you the confidence, give you the knowledge, give you the understanding to really get going, trading the money press, trading some other strategies. And then hopefully, like you saw, a lot of people see some really exciting profits. But more
Yeah.
than anything, they leave those 10 weeks armed with the knowledge to go trade and go apply this, which, maybe they're going to trade for the next 10, 20, 30 years. And what that is worth is just beyond measure. So we just love helping people embark on that new journey.
And I get a kick out of too. Older, we have grandfathers buying it for their grandkids, and they tune in together and they learn together. What's cooler than that?
Yeah. It's
Just right there. So
Well, good stuff. We'll sign off on that note, Preston. Thanks for all you do. Like always, we want to help you just start your week, start your trading week, being ready, being prepared, cut through the fog and all the noise out there. So we'll be back a week from today to kick off the next trading week. So have an awesome week, everyone. We'll see if the Cowboys can bring it next weekend, Preston. Get you over
yeah,
the
yeah.
weekend blues.
Boy, that's we're gonna be there live at that one.
We're gonna be there watching Micah Parsons return to AT&T.
That's right, that's right. All right, Mike, thanks so much for this. It's always fun. Take care down there.
You
Good
bet. Have a
seeing
good one.
you.
We'll sign off. Thanks, everyone.
Take care.